Hey guys, welcome back to the TBN podcast. I'm your host, Gunnar Michelli. So today we have Mr. Gareth Juays down there on C shift, Longview Fire. He is the I don't know, what do you call you? I mean, everyone knows you. Everyone knows you. Everyone loves you. Like you're just somebody that no one can't have enough of. And
I don't know if everyone would agree with that, but
I don't know. Trent loves you no matter how much he talks crap.
Yeah.
And y'all get into each other's butt. He does love you.
That's my work wife.
Oh yeah, it is hilarious. So
what's up, bud? Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's been awesome. So we've been talking about this for a long time about getting on here and stuff. And last time we was going through some things and we never got to, and we finally sat down and found a day. And like then, of course, that I don't text very well and not a very good conversator on the phone. No. We finally decided to do it. He's like, 26 work? About 4 days after that. Oh yeah, let's run it.
I don't know how you live your life like that.
It sucks.
It's probably because you're out here in the middle of nowhere. Do you even get signal?
No, actually, not very good signal. Yeah. So I think I probably have 1 or 2 bars right now. I got 2, and so we run off of Wi-Fi and we barely get that. And this is how it is. That's the life of Gunnar Michelli and his family that lives on this compound.
Yeah. Bunch of Neanderthals.
I love it though.
What you been up to, man? Did you work last night?
Yeah, we worked last night.
How'd it go?
Man, Medic 7's helping us a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Were you on it last night?
No, I wasn't. I was at 1, but like, so we went from averaging probably, I think, at least 16 calls a shift, if not 20. And now we're like maybe running 10. Like 10's a high number for us now. It has been so nice. We ran 5 last night. We had a Jaws call.
Yeah.
It was actually a minor wreck that turned into a Jaws call. And it was nothing about that wreck was minor. You know how with PD and that shit goes. But
since I run a good Jaws call.
I know, we just don't have them that often. And Nacogdoches over here, bro, all the time.
Wow.
I guarantee you it's weekly. They're running like a severe Jaws call.
Yeah.
Like fatalities and stuff. It's just because you got 21 that runs kind of through St. Augustine, through here to Nacogdoches. Well, you have another major highway, Highway 7, that comes through like Center and stuff. And so those are just 2 major highways. Tons of traffic, and it's so bendy and whatnot. And it's just huge bad wrecks. We worked a bad one over here right in front of the church the other day. Excuse me. But it's good. It's good. So what's new at y'all station? Anything fun? Anything adventurous?
Down in the hood, buddy. We just, I think 7, it may be more helping us a little tertiary, just kind of third. We're probably staying in our district more. But we're just training a lot on the truck, and my driver, myself, and even our captain, we're all just a year or more on the truck. So learning the craft, being a student again. You know, I was at 1 for so many years, kind of got my rhythm, and then truck work's just a different animal.
So on the truck, if you used to go back and look, I guess your engine days and stuff, would you rather be on the truck than the engine?
Jeez, on video, I love being on the nozzle. There's nothing like it. Again, I'm enjoying being a student of it. I'm learning, and I think with that is going to be where I find my passions and what I'm leaning to. But I don't know if there's anything in the service like being on the nozzle.
Yes.
So
consistently, are you on the truck? Do you ever go kind of on the engine, or are you still trying to like make sure you're getting all the truck time as possible?
We're dealing with the same thing everyone else is. Lots of apprentices, so we kind of go with the city needs me. So I ride the Medic a bit here lately, and I haven't been tailboard on the engine while I've been down there. I've driven it a few times, but Cap likes to keep the truck together for the most part.
I understand, yeah.
But yeah, because we've got so many apprentices now, they just put medics where they need them. So,
yeah.
How about you guys? Are you traveling out any or?
Oh, no.
Really?
Cap does a good job at keeping us in-house.
Nice.
Every now and then. I think Robbie's had to go out once to Station 2.
Okay.
To go get, tortured by Captain Daniels. But thank God it's better him than me.
Yeah.
Because you can't sleep around that man. You can't do anything. But Shirley's down there, so Shirley does take a lot of that torture, so it's nice.
Yeah.
But thing about Juays is that he takes a pretty big leadership role with the new hires and stuff. And I kind of want to talk to you about that. So, like, what kind of, like, gave you the thought or, like, the passion or the want to even kind of, like, take such a leadership role with them?
With the new guys?
Yeah.
I think that it was probably, I want to say it's got more to do with when I came on and how and what the department looked like. I didn't get a fire program or anything like that. It was do the orientation, and it was a city orientation. So get your passwords, get familiar with how the city works. And then that's it. You're in. And the new guys 10 years ago were, do more than speak more, left to your own devices. There wasn't that investment into how to be successful from all aspects, from, how to financially be successful, how to handle different personalities in the station. I came very sheltered growing up, very foreign to kind of the way of the station, the way of the kitchen table. So it was all a shock to me. And the people that we're hiring today, the kids that we're hiring today, are even in itself a very different breed. So seeing the turnover, seeing how many guys we were losing, how many guys were kind of just falling through the cracks and already getting bad reputations very early, I just kind of, and it started in our house, just took it upon ourselves at one. And I was, back at one, then like, we're going to just take you from start to finish and teach you about this. And, we've had to actually teach guys how to load the dishwasher, how to put laundry detergent in the machine. They're coming from mom's house.
Crazy.
And mom did it, 2 weeks prior. Then you come and be a big boy fireman, and it's all on you.
It's crazy. And that's the thing. And like, it goes way beyond the job for you. Like, you're teaching these guys, how to be financially responsible, which these days a lot of kids lack.
Sure.
They like it. It's not even their fault.
Yeah.
It's never talked about and stuff and know how to cook. Juays is a phenomenal cook. We love him at one just because he knows how to cook. But and that's another thing. Like, no one knows how to cook these days, especially people, my age and younger.
Yeah.
They just never really had to.
Right.
Which I like cooking, so it's not so hard on me, but I've seen it. Like, these guys don't even know how to boil water.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but it's just what it is. But Juays, I want to know about your life from start to finish. Jeez. Or it's not finished yet, but like start.
Yeah.
So like where you came from and stuff like that, because he's got a very unique story, and I love hearing it.
Yeah, I was born in Cape Town, South Africa. Mom, dad, younger sister lived there till 2005. My dad got a job opportunity in East Texas. It was like a 3-year project. So we moved here in 2005. I was 15 to Marshall, Texas. And big culture shock. Went from 4 million people to 25,000.
And they're all cousins.
Yeah. Everyone knows each other. You're the outsider. And then the project ended, and we stayed. And I graduated high school, got married young, so just kind of started building a life in East Texas. Started fire service 2009, and then went through paramedic school and got on with Longview January of 13. So last week was my 10-year anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
So did you start in like a volunteer, or was it kind of like a combination?
Yeah, I was an ESD.
Was it Harrison County? Okay.
Harrison County ESD 3 in Scottsville, Texas.
So how was that dynamic going from that to the pay department?
I'm a huge my whole life has been under mentorship. And I've been very blessed to have mentors, my dad being the biggest one, but I've gone from mentor to mentor my whole life. So I was really fortunate to meet a guy who was a big influence in my career, and he was a part of this volunteer department, and he just kept putting me on the right track, you know. So my time as a volunteer was very active. It's still volunteer. It's still Tuesday meetings and you know, guys of different backgrounds trying to put some sort of fire service training together.
Yeah.
But I was exposed to a lot of how to be successful as a man amongst men from the guys that I was around in
That's awesome.
In that time of my life.
That's awesome. So as far as your dad, so kind of what was your family work like down in Cape Town?
Yeah, so my mom has always been in tourism. Cape Town is a big tourist destination. My grandmother owned a kind of boutique hotel. It was 24-bed kind of bed and breakfast setup, and my mom ran that. My dad's been in IT, been in computers, which again, like that upbringing. Fast forward, a fireman in East Texas. We didn't have chainsaws and a tool room, and I didn't have exposure to things that are just kind of rite of passage of East Texas boys. You know, we didn't have duck blinds and hunting traps, and like that wasn't my life. So maybe we get to it later, but I came in as the outsider. I didn't even know it yet. Not to mention the foreigner. You know, so yeah, but my dad was in computers. His whole life's been in IT. So yeah.
So whenever you came over, whenever you was kind of, I guess, went to school more or less, how was that transition? Were like the kids nice to you? Were they kind of rejective or?
So I was homeschooled.
Oh, that's right.
I was homeschooled from 5th grade, I think, and then we came here. We kind of joined this little co-op, homeschool co-op, where there was other kids kind of in the same space. But if you can believe it, I have no problem making friends. So
No.
I just it didn't matter. There's a lot of like the stereotype of homeschool kids of just being awkward and non-social, and that just wasn't the case for me. I was able to kind of overcome that pretty naturally. So I've never been in public school that doesn't have any kind of those experiences. And then I've also been working since I was 15. I've my whole life's been in sales of some sort. So interacting with strangers was kind of wrought in me, trained in me from an early age as well.
Is your daughter going to public school?
She's in kindergarten, and it's a private school right now.
Okay, cool.
We're talking about it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Some of the things happening in my life. I may be moving town, and there's a really good public school, but it's daunting. It's
Where
a huge Hallsville.
Hallsville? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's a huge. As a parent, it's a huge.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like private school and versus public school, and
I'm not gonna lie. Private schools, I felt, at least the interactions and conversations I've had, like I feel like they are smarter than me. They get like a better education. But I think a lot of that was due to my own choosing. I chose to party and, kind of fuck off growing up. So like, it's what you make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's people that I went to high school with are now lawyers. So
right.
I mean, it is what it is. But sports, the sports, and like giving her opportunities and stuff, it'd probably be good for her,
Right.
But and especially that being a good school, because I've heard nothing but good things about that school.
Yeah.
But
no, it's well, I got to sit down with her mom and chat that one out.
Yeah. So. But besides that, yeah, it's pretty unique coming from Africa then into this and to like, especially East Texas.
It is, yeah, and I'm a very different East Texas fireman. I don't hunt, I don't fish, I don't like beer. I can outshop all your wives. You put that in a bunch of redneck hick firemen. Like, it doesn't go well.
No, it
like,
doesn't.
what do you talk about? And there's, for my younger years, I conformed. I just wanted to be part of the guys. And so I'd learn, sayings and phrases to make it sound like I knew what I was talking about, just to be part of it. Like, and it took some maturity to kind of come out of that and be like, I am who I am, and you can either enjoy it and I'll tell you my side of life, and you can tell me yours, or not. Like,
I think if I was ever in that situation, I would just start talking shit. I mean, you have nothing to relate to him. Just start talking shit and you'll build a bond.
Yeah, my man, a cold front's coming. Them ducks gonna lay low today. I have no idea what that means. I have no clue. But they liked it when I said it. You know what I mean? I've never been duck hunting. I have no desire to. Too early, too cold.
Damn it, that was funny.
Yeah,
but I guess we'll move on to like the more serious conversations.
Come on.
So, Juays, he won the Nobel Peace Prize of Longview of the Brotherhood Award, and so I'm joking, but it's a serious thing because he not only just talks about it, he is about it, and we'll go through stories and I'll be able to explain to like what he's done and stuff. But like, what does Brotherhood mean to you? If you could put it in one sentence.
Yeah, I don't think I can. It's such a charged word. I think that it also became Hollywoodized, where it was like this coined phrase and we stole it from the military, but it's a commitment. It's a commitment to loving you because of a shared truth. And for us, it's the patch, right? Like, I commit to helping you out of your hard time because you wear the same thing on your shoulder as I do. Not because we're best friends or not friends. One thing in our department, we've got, because of kind of the dynamic and the size, you've got groups of friends, right? And those, it's easy to help your buddy. It's easy to help your friend with whatever, moving or whatever that looks like. Yeah, because he's your buddy. Like, you spend time together, off duty, hanging out. But because he's got the same patch as you and works in another station on another shift and is in need, it's a little harder to swallow, to get away from your day because he's in the Brotherhood. So I think, it's a commitment to one another.
Oh, I totally agree. And off those characteristics you said, it's just because it's an act of service, and it's an act of service that's selfless.
Yeah.
And being non-selfish. I mean, because like for my brothers, I would, if they needed anything out of me today, even if my life depended on it, I would have them.
Yeah.
And I would do anything in my power to help them or even die for them. And that's the same way I look at it there. That's the same way I looked at it when I was in the Marines. Even because like even there, you don't like everybody. You don't have to like them. Yeah. But they are wearing the same patch. They are sharing the same culture as you. But so you should love them.
Yeah. Does Brotherhood get taught in the Marines? I mean, do you sit you were a sergeant?
Yes.
Yeah. So you sit your guys down and say, this will be how it is. This is how it's going to work from here on out. You will keep your boys accountable. You will be there when they call you. Or is it just an organic, natural evolution? I
think it's more organic than anything. I think everyone already, I would say it's organic because everyone already had the understanding, I mean, they talk about it, boot camp, about Brotherhood and stuff, and growing on, they talk about it. But it's when you live with these guys and, like, you really conform into a family because you're living with them. Like, they are literally your brothers. And, examples of that is like when we'd have new Marines or whatever that come to our unit, other, units and other places, they would try to screw with our guys and stuff like that. In which we just met these guys, they're not part of us technically yet. Well, they are technically, but like we don't. It's a weird dynamic, but we wouldn't let anybody mess with them, regardless or not. But we could, but nobody else could. Right. Yeah. But
have you heard of the phrase "riding for the brand"? It's a poem actually about these cowboys on the Wagner Ranch out in West Texas. But the idea that you came to us and asked us for a job, and when you got that job, you started writing for this brand, and the brand is the organization, the company, the unit, whatever that looks like. But if you're going to write for the brand, there's an accountability that this is how the brand works. This is how this organization works. And if you do it the way the unit does it. So in the kind of conversation is you live by the brand and you die by the brand. And for those that do, just like what you're saying, like, we've got new guys, and I tell them all the time, when you're at work, whatever station you're at, that is the best station you've been to, right? That is the best part, because you're there, because your guys are going to make it the best. That is the best engine in the city. You you get floated out to another one, that one's going to be the best of the city, right? Like you decide that today.
Yes.
And you take pride in that. And there's pride in the department. You and I have had this conversation recently. Like there's loyalty to the organization. It may be flawed. It may not be doing everything right now, but I am loyal to it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And that's where we're having problems.
Yeah.
And I think it goes beyond that. I think there's some people that come into this job and look at it as a job,
Yeah.
And I think that's reflective of, to a lot of people's not, somewhere, but Dallas areas pay more. You knew that coming into it. Why did you just not go test with them from the beginning?
Yeah.
Because like for us, like coming to work at Longview means something. Like you're coming to be part of, our brand, and our brand's aggressive, and we care about our culture. We care about being badass.
Yeah.
But and essentially, if you feel that way, like you're that type that is non-loyal to move on, just go, because we don't want you.
Or in your interview, say, guys, I'm working here because it's a stepping stone and I need to move. And if we hire you knowing that, then we made an arrangement because we need you more than you need us. But don't come and sit in that table and say, I'm going to move my family here. I want to, part of my character traits are loyalty and integrity, and then slide under the table when a dollar gets pushed,
So you're on the interview board. How many times do you hear this?
Oh, I mean, it's every day. And it's cookie cutter, it's prearranged decision that, they've decided to say it before they walk in. And like, be genuine, I mean, we could probably do a whole podcast on how to get hired. It's they say it all the time. And, you want to believe them. But we don't, our department has flaws, and we don't pay the most, and the ambulance is going to kick you in the nuts, and it is what it is. But we told you that, but we also told you we're going to train you. We're going to make you better. You're going to get opportunities just like everyone else is to be on the nozzle, to fight fire. We fight a lot of fire for the size of city we are. So if you want to grow, if you want to learn, come play.
Oh, absolutely. And going to talk about loyalty. Loyalty is a very huge characteristic when it comes to Brotherhood, because, because you have these people that talk behind your back, and they love to talk about you. They love to conversate about you. And that's just how they are. They're gossip buddies and stuff. But Brotherhood and loyalty, essentially, in which I'm probably a hypocrite of this sometimes, I'm not going to lie, because we get aggravated with each other and whatever. But and I think we're all probably faulted at that, But your brothers and stuff, like you could talk about it with other brothers and stuff if you have like concerning conversations with them, but you don't go run into everybody just trying to bash their name and trying to ruin them. Because, you might not like them and they might aggravate the hell out of you, but it's still your brother. And you should essentially want what's best for him, regardless of how he is or what he's not. But loyalty is a strong word in the essence, is what I'm trying to say. What are some other like characteristics that you'd say that Brotherhood kind of stands on?
I think it's sacrifice. And, it's very easy and it's very cheap to say, hey, I'm dealing with something. All right, well, call me if you need me. You know what I mean? And that's the end of it. Like, you don't think about it again. All right, buddy, well, we'll be praying for you. And that's the end of it, right? Where the active part of that is actually being there It's actually doing something about it, finding what is in your control, what you have control over, what you have influence over, to rectify, make right, improve their situation. So, and it doesn't have to be grand, but it's sacrifice. It means leaving your comfy couch on your day off and going and mowing your buddy's yard. You don't have to talk to him. You don't have to tell him it was you. He just has to come out and see that his yard was mowed because he's having a crappy situation or day, or, you know.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I'm going to share a couple stories with y'all. Stuff that's happened in our department that people's taken, they really lived up to it. And, you know, so we have Kyle Lipscomb. When him and his family was going through that horrible situation and stuff, it was very dark, you know. And I've had a conversation with him and stuff, and that's why he's so involved in the brotherhood stuff now and whatnot, is because, like, whenever they lost their child at the hospital, there was a fireman there all day. And how many days did that go? Was it just that day, or did it go a couple of days?
They were there just over 24 hours.
Just over 24 hours.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was just fire truck after fire truck rolling through there just to make sure and checking on them and sitting up there with them as they were going through this process. And, man, and that speaks a lot, you know. And Trent the other day, him and his wife had a scare with their baby, whatever. And so he went home and stuff. Well, before he even got to the hospital, Juays already had people traded, so Trent could take off the next 2 days to be with his wife and figure things out. He had 2 people already lined up to work for Trent. And then he's over there texting me, like, hey, we got to get something for these guys and stuff, and to their families, so they're sacrificing their dad to go help somebody else and stuff. And that's just like, that's what it is. That's what it's about. Because it's easy to do stuff for somebody when everything is all good and gracious and stuff. But when, like you said, whenever times get hard and times get dark and they really need somebody, like, people are selfishly stepping up to make things happen.
Yeah. So, we'll go over. So the thing, one of our brothers, they went full term knowing that the baby had some defects that were incompatible with life. That was their decision to take it to term. And that them and their family, they were dealing with enough emotional turmoil that they were going through that we just had to be there. You know, it just wasn't an excuse not to. So that's kind of where I would say the most recent reignition of the activation. So this kind of this phrase that I'm coining is activating the brotherhood. And the brotherhood lives dormant. It lives sleeping, where, yes, you're my brother, and you and I have a brotherhood together, but as long as you don't need it, then it's really easy. Because everything's fine and there's no problems and you don't need me and I don't need you. So it's easy to say that you and I are in this brotherhood. The moment that there is a need, now we'll see who's active and who's dormant, right? So overnight, there's this need. And my goal or what was kind of laid upon my heart is, if he's there, we're there. So I started calling guys. I said, I just want an hour of your time to be in that waiting room. He may not see you. They may not come out for that hour, but we're committing. If he's in that hospital, we're in that hospital. And at first it was like pulling teeth. It was tough to just get guys to come and sit for an hour. And it's hard for everyone. Like, this is, we all have lives and side jobs and families and kids, and all of that matters. All of that has validity. I spoke to a guy, and he's a leader. He's a really good friend of mine. But this is just an example of how quickly we get into life over our self life. And I said, hey, trying to get guys to come in. I've got some gaps. 11 p.m., midnight. Do you mind coming in and just sitting for an hour? Man, my boys got T-ball, and I got to put them, after that, we got to do bed routine. And I said, yeah, I'm asking for a bit later. Man, you're really trying to sell me on this, aren't you? I said, no, I'm just asking you to come and sit in a room with quiet for about an hour. And you can even thank God that your boys are able to play T-ball because the guy 2 rooms over, his kid's not leaving this place. You're damn right. I'll be there. I'm so sorry. And it was just that like real quick realization that in the grand scheme of things, this one T-ball practice, and I understand that everyone's got wives and we all work a lot, but for this hour, I need you to sacrifice. And it wasn't I need you to sacrifice, but the boys needed you. You know what I mean?
That's powerful, bro.
Yeah. And so, and we did it. Like we got it. And in that space, in that time, I sat on my laptop and I just kind of wrote out some notes for my life. Like, here's what I want to commit to. And so I believe that it's a God-given gift of kind of having that gift of leadership and being passionate and being good about it. But it's informal. I'm a tailboard fireman. I have no rank. So my influence is going to be, here's what you can do for the brothers. So yeah, Trent's one of my best friends. We came through the department together, went to medic school together. He doesn't have an option. Like there's some guys that you're going to help to that level of boundary. Trent can throw that boundary away. I'll walk in his house if I need to. So when he was having his little scare, like it, and the guys came through. I just made the phone call. I didn't, I've got on my phone, I got notes like, who do I call when someone needs money? I've got a list of guys. Who do I call when someone needs labor? I got a list of guys. And so then I've got a list like, who are my traders? Like, who will work when needed? John Velez, guy's an absolute legend. He's what every, I think, rookie needs to aspire to. But yeah, call him. Hey, I need you. This is what it looks like. I'll pay you whatever it needs. Yeah, you're not paying me anything. I'll be there. That was the conversation. Hung up. Willis Corman, dude, the guy's a big kid. He's 6'2", strong as an ox.
Bro.
He is what I liked. He is a nuclear power plant full of potential energy. I get like 10 years younger every time I'm around him because he is just like bubbling with,
bro, he's awesome
with
to work
joy.
with.
And the conversation, hey, can you do me a favor? Yeah. When? What do you want me to tell you what the favor is? Yeah. I need you to work. Yeah, I will. Okay, what are you doing? I'm playing video games. Is this going to take much longer? Leave me alone. I'll help you. So those guys were the power behind it. Hey, what do you need for us? Nothing. I'm not taking $1. And so that's the end of that. Right now, training the muscle is now I want to do something for them and their families because they said yes quickly. They were quick to activate their brotherhood. But now they got kids and wives. And so for what a trade would cost, if I'm going to, and I called you and I said, and yeah, I'll give you a hard time, but like if all he asked for was an energy drink, he's like, yeah, give me a C4, I'll be good. So I wanted like each one of you to put one down on the table and say, this is from all of us. You know what I mean? And
ordered him a pack. I think it was a pack of 24 I ordered.
Nice.
A C4 energy drinks.
Yeah.
I'll just text him about it and see if he got them. Yeah, he hasn't got them yet. But
Gotcha. And yeah, because like for the cost of an energy drink, you're going to be there for my guy.
Yeah.
Like 10-4, no problem. You know what I mean? And then Velez, he's got 3 kids, guy's got working on a basketball team and he's got a wife that's home a lot. So like we're going to bless them. So yeah, I call you and be like, hey, I need you to go get toys for these. Like Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'll get the snuff. You get the toys. Like, you're such a jarhead. Like,
bro, I wouldn't even know where to start.
you wouldn't. No.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah.
But no, and I went and got him to skull, whatever, and he's like, bro, I ain't did skull in so long. Like, this is rich man's dip. I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. I just bought it. I don't know what's going on, you know. But I haven't dipped in years, and when I did dip, I didn't do it seriously. So, you know, and that's the thing. Like, and when they showed up to work, their attitude was phenomenal. Like, you'd expect them to be. Like, you would never think they would have had to be there.
Yeah,
you know,
those guys are.
And opportunities happened during that. Corman got to pump his first house fire.
Heck yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, that makes that much better.
Yeah.
And, like, God works things in a certain way. I don't, man, it's just so dynamic. But
yeah, without a doubt. And you know, in fact, spoke to Trent, and he was like, I can't wait to pay this back. I can't wait to pay it forward. And his wife, you know, it's tough for our families to understand why we're trading for free and why we're, you know, going the extra mile. And he said to her, it was really cool. He said, you remember when I used to stay over on Christmas so the guys with kids can go home and do Christmas with their kids, or how I'd come in early so the guy can go baseball tournament for the day or whatever the case is. This is why they're working for me. Like, it's all coming back. And we don't keep record of it, and it's not like, hey, I did this for you, you did this for me. But that is the brotherhood. That, you want to know what it looks like? That's what it looks like. It's laying down your life for your brother.
And man, and like, I don't know, like, so when that was going on with Trent, I'm very close to Trent.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was scared. I was scared shitless. Like, it put me in a bad way. Cause you know, like I was like, man, like I was sitting there, like it was like at 4 a.m. I woke up, I went straight to the chair. I went and started praying.
Yeah.
I went praying hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, please just let everything be okay and stuff like that. And, then once, you know, the shift was over, you know, we went and got them some breakfast, brought them breakfast and stuff. They just got back from the hospital and stuff. Just left it at the door and I left.
That's it.
And, so then I called him on the phone, and he kind of told me what was going on. So I got on the phone, started calling some people to get an opinion on this. And one was OBGYN. And I heard some good news there. And I'm like, Trent, maybe, like, I don't want to, you know, give you false hope, but this is what he thinks. And sure enough, so, like, we are. And he's good. Everything's good.
That's it.
And so we got what we prayed for.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm sure other places are doing it right like this. You know, I don't think we're the only one.
Absolutely.
But I just hope that we can keep this moving in a good momentum, like where it just don't die. And how, like, I know things like this is what helps it not die, but like, what is like an intentional action you could take for your department so the Brotherhood won't die or be reignited?
So I think you draw a line in the sand and you say, yesterday happened the way that what we accepted yesterday is over with. As of today, this is what the new standard is going to be. And you get like-minded guys around you. And so that's what we did is we said, there are great guys 5 years and older, 5 years and senior. But we drew a line in the sand. We said, 5 years down, we are going to make sure that you are invested in to the best of our ability, that everything that we have as senior guys, as 10-year, 12-year guys, that we're going to impart into the new guys for those first 5 years. Informal, not sanctioned by training division, department, anything like that. We are just committing to giving you everything we've got from our first 10 years of service into your first 24, 36 months. And so, you know, kind of being as vague as I can, but we've made informal leadership about as formal as you can.
Yeah.
And where we're giving them resources, making sure that they are not a week, 2 weeks without a phone call. Hey, what's going on? You know, and that's sacrifice. Like, you know, if I'm in the city, I got some time to kill on my day off. I go and look and see who's at what station and just, hey, what's going on, man? Hadn't seen you in a while. What's new? What, you know, and those things matter to these guys. These, you know, this is their first fire job or their first exposure to maybe bigger city firefighting. and we're trying to do as much hand holding as we can. And, so kind of what we see is they go till they're checked off, till they're kind of free to outside of their probationary part. And then we start making them help. And they start imparting. We've got a class that's about to start paramedic school. So the guys that just finished paramedic school start imparting into, hey, these are my study tips. This is how you are going to go through clinicals. This is what was tough about mine. Maybe this is what you can do better, so that you're accountable to and accountable for. Yeah.
And what I really like about that is it's not only just based off of work or whatever, but it's also like it's big into bringing them together of like having events and stuff like what we got coming up this Sunday and stuff. Yeah. And I think that's something that we're lacking hardcore right now.
Yeah.
As an organization.
Right. It's not the fire department's job to make sure that you're doing okay. Mm-hmm. That's my job. That's your job, right? The fire department's job is to make sure that your job is safe and you have the equipment that you need and you get a paycheck for 2 weeks. Your success with your family, the first time that you've got to work on shift and you're doing a 24-48, and this is the first time your wife has been on a 24-48 schedule, this is the first time your kids don't see you every third day, those are big parts of your life that you're so focused on what's about to happen, paramedic school, getting there early, being a good rookie. Like those resources kind of get pushed by the wayside, all while kind of building up. And then 2, 3, 4 years in, you're getting divorced. Like the divorce rate for fire in our fire department specifically was way too high, me included. I got divorced here a couple of years ago. Thanks for asking. Yeah. No, I'm good. Thanks, buddy.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, she's a cop in the city. She's her and I are really good. She's a good mom, and she's Army badass. So she's working on getting SWAT team. And
yeah, but look what you got now.
Oh yeah,
God works. He works. He's there, guys. I'm telling you.
I got a lovely lady. And that's another thing. It's like getting sitting your wife down and saying, hey, this is going to cost you as well. Me being an active member of the Brotherhood is going to mean time away from you, right? It's going to mean, hey, I'm going to work some more when I don't have to. And when she can champion, when she has buy-in on that and understands why, it's a game changer.
Because y'all not just involved in us either. Y'all involved in the families. Like y'all had a class with Lekins, wasn't it?
Yep.
And y'all had this conversation. Was that kind of like the whole gist of that, I guess, party more or less, or get together, was to talk about kind of like the job things, or was it more spiritual?
It was both. Him and his wife are a fantastic example of how to do this fire thing successful. So his wife has an amazing story of how to be purposeful at being a fire wife, like we don't like calling them that, but how to thrive when your husband's gone every third day, things like that. So we took as many new guys and their wives and we cooked them dinner and we sat them around the fire and we just chatted and they talked about how it went wrong, what that looked like, and then what they've done to learn from it. I think they've been married 10 years plus. So
that's what's cool, and that's what it's all about. But going back to that reignition, so you're doing well with like the 5 and under. These guys, like everything's set straight. But like, what about these guys that are above this 5 year that might be lacking the whole Brotherhood thing? Are they kind of just like false hope, or is there still some kind of accountability of letting them know, hey guys, this is still the Brotherhood organization. You're still wearing the patch. Like, we really love you to be a part of this.
Yeah, I think that is no word of mouth, no marketing. They are in need, and what used to their friends showed up or 1 or 2 guys showed up, when 15 of us show up and do what needs to be done and leave, that's what speaks, right? So that is all action. This isn't if you're in, you're in. again, the unity is that you work for the same department, you ride for the same brand as me. So when we hear need, or when, and that's a big thing, is being informed, staying abreast of what's going on in the department. But yeah, we just, the guys that are tenured and maybe in a rut, or kind of fighting complacency and things like that, we just show up, just be there for them. That's all there's these older hands, these older hands just, they set in their ways and they've got it, and they don't.
Well, at the grand scheme of things, like at least for most of them, they've already went through their, assessment and reaction to how like the initial side of things of the fire service was. Their first few years were people like us and me, like we're on that rocky terrain right now, and we're the ones that are needing guidance and ones needing help, But
and you were talking about how do you do this for your department? Is the guys that are coming in, that's what it's kind of getting at, is you draw a line in the sand. Everyone that hires on from here on out will not know how it was before. They won't know that when you called, no one answered. They won't know that there's scrubs out there and these guys that are talking noise, and because all they're going to see is guys that want to help, guys that are invested in my success. And so that becomes the new normal. And then eventually, over time, you become the majority.
And what is it like? We talked about it before, but like the end goal to this, like the end goal to they starting up here, but now like 20 years goes by and they're leadership. Yeah. And so essentially, like now you have a whole reflection of the whole department in the same mentality of that.
We changed the culture from the bottom up. It just took 20 years. Yeah. So now, 20 years from now, the culture is everyone's here for each other. Everyone is invested in the success of the new guys. Orientation and new hire training and all these things matter because the ripple effects have consequences.
But you realize that you couldn't change it from the top down. Is that how you came up with the bottom up?
Yeah. It's very easy to blame your admin. It's easy to blame the chiefs and captains that are in place and why we are the way we are. And we've got great officers spread out throughout the department. You work for a good one. But we can't control that. I, as a tailboard fireman, cannot go to an officer meeting and say, this is how the new normal is. You will make your guys train. We are going to stretch lines because it matters. Like, I'm not going to do that, but as a senior guy, and I'm one of the more senior tailboards at a very short 10 years at only halfway through my career.
I think you're one of the probably most got the most time as a tailboard. Who's got more time as a tailboard than?
There's about 10 more than me.
10 more?
Yeah. Tailboard. Now, there's guys that are beneath me that have promoted to driver. And so, yeah, I'm 10 years in. One day I'll promote. I don't know.
We're supposed to go take classes together.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know what I was saying.
No, he was going over the end goal.
So it's changing the culture. Oh, that's right. So what I do have influence is the new guys when they come to my station and they say, hey, how can I help? And here's what this looks like. And here's what the day is going to look like. And, hey, do you have a meal planned for tonight? No, I don't know what to do. Okay, this is what this is going to look like. Here you're going to learn some 4 or 5 good meals that you're going to use in rotation because you're going to go float all over the city. And everyone's going to expect you to have the meal planned. What do you need trained on? I don't know. When was the last time you stretched lines? Probably orientation. All right, guess what we're doing today? We're going to go out and we're going to stretch off the engine and we're going to throw ladders and whatever that looks like. But I don't get me wrong. I like taking naps and I'm at a station that promotes naps. But when it's
not about you anymore. Right. It's about them. But also, so say, what is probably one of the biggest challenges you had as you started developing this brotherhood culture in our department?
My excitement or my what I see as the most important thing isn't what everyone else sees as the most important thing, and that's a character flaw. Like some of this, again, I've this kind of God-given ability to see a need and meet a need. The unhealthy side of that is you become a fixer. You just want to fix problems, right? Then the other part is where it can get ugly is where you just have this need to be needed. But finding their why, taking all my buddies that were 10-year plus, and we said, hey, I want to start helping you guys. I want to start making sure that there are resources and that we have the ability to move and make things happen, is finding their why to be a part of it. And, again, guys have busy lives. And so just it's what I believe the Lord's called me to do. And whether I have the help, that's great. Sometimes I don't, that's fine.
Because it's not an easy thing. And like, here's another question that to piggy off that is that, so what if you have somebody like that's not so, kind of like a sour apple, and he's going to the guys behind you. He's like, "Well, you gonna start drinking that Kool-Aid? You gonna do this and you gonna do that?" It's kind of like downplaying it and not making it seem so important. How would you approach that?
Tenured or not tenured? So,
I don't know.
yeah, so not tenured is I don't tolerate it. I'll call him out, find out what his issue was. Like, did we miss your need? Did did the guys fail you somewhere that we can commit to change? If you're just talking noise to talk noise, then it ain't gonna go well. But tenured, I just a wide berth. Just tell the guys, hey, leave him be. Do what you need to get the day done. But you're not gonna, 20 years in, 18-year guys, like they are who they are, and that's fine. Like they've fought more fire than we have, and they see the world a very linear way. But outside, I mean, it's easy to tell them, yeah, empower them, ask them, questions, try and get them involved and engaged. Let's fast forward. We've tried all that. They're still just talking noise. I've had a very up-down reputation in my 10 years. I was a 2-20, came in really eager, got on every committee that they would let me as the new guy. It wasn't always perceived well. So, I've been on both sides of the noise and the chatter and the rumors. And I've kind of who my mentors are. I haven't always had the best reputation, and so I've just kind of been lumped in with the guy that that I've chosen to learn from and study from, and that's fine. Like at the end of the day, you have to be able to justify your why. Is this in line with your goals, your vision? Can you put your head on the pillow at night and believe that you've done your best? Let them talk.
I got you.
I've watched a lot of mob movies, and the Mafia did the Brotherhood the best. Like in its true essence, it was family. Yeah, and you were a horrible Italian.
Horrible.
Yeah, but like your people knew what they were doing because family meant everything. And just like you said, when you touch family, when you came, and I can hit my brother all day, but when you struck my brother, it's on. And at the true essence, these families came as immigrants, and we're like, they don't do it the best way. They did some sketchy business.
Yeah,
but
love it.
But at the core, it was we're going to protect our family. Our family's going to eat first. Our family's going to thrive. So We're just underground mom.
And at the end of the day, if anyone takes out anything of this podcast or this conversation, is just to quit being selfish and quit doing things as you would do your own family. Quit looking at it as a job. This is literally your family.
Yeah.
And I think like things could be changed if it's sideways to being the better. Because I mean, like if your brother, hopefully you love your brother and you claim him as your brother, and the dynamic's not weird. But like my brother, like I said, if anything happened for him or anything happened to him, like bro, it'd be lifeless.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't care. And it's hard to fathom in a way, but it's also simple. But who are like some of like, because what confuses me about your mentality behind this is just like, where did it come from? Like,
I was raised with it. I was raised with it. So, both my parents are servant leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of going back to I was from mentor to mentor. My dad was, if we had enough, we'd go find out who didn't. Multiple times we'd have our shopping cart, and then we'd have the cart we were filling for someone, and we'd just go put the groceries on their front door and leave, because they were in need. And it wasn't for gratification, self-gratification, or show, because they didn't know where it came from, but it was just in their heart. So my mom is very active in finding where, her love language is acts of service. Mm-hmm. My love language is acts of service. The Brotherhood is an expression of that love language, is of how I can serve you, to express how I feel about you. Mm-hmm. And then when I got here to the States, there was a guy at church, and he was kind of over the deacons, over the service side of the church. And this guy, he grew up, his parents were kind of deep-rooted Texas politicians. Mm-hmm. So he grew up having these kind of formal dinners and serving these events and being exposed to high-end service. Mm-hmm. Well, he had a catering company, and he would take all the kids from church, the teenagers, and we were too young to kind of formally work, but he would put us to work, and we would help set up for these functions and catering events. Mm-hmm. And then he would take us to Florida for the week as a thank you. We'd go skiing or whatever the case is.
Really?
So yeah,
That's
so
neat.
yeah, so we
cool.
were, kind of the youth trips were, and it wasn't, he was kind of the, one of the lessons I learned from him is you don't work for money, right? You don't work for a paycheck, and we don't work for man. What's provided to you comes from the grace of God, and so when you remove that, I'm only going to do the minimum to get the paycheck, there's so much more opportunity that comes out of that.
That's a crazy perspective. Never looked at it that way.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I learned that at 15 years old, where we'd have hard work, give it your all, do it to the best of your ability, and then it wasn't associated with, I'm going to get a check after this. We were having fun. We were with our friends and washing dishes at 3 a.m. and setting up for these 500 people events, and then when end of the year, we'd go out to Florida, Destin, places like that. But anyway, I remember when I first got here, he would pick me up after school, and I'd ride with him, and we went to one of the ladies in our church just lost her husband. Mm-hmm. So literally, he gets a phone call. All right, I'll be right there. We go to this person's house. Her family's still there. The preacher's there. Like, this just happened. Mm-hmm. And he just stands in the background, and I'm kind of standing next to him, and he kind of leans over to me. I was with another guy. He goes, "Hey, I want you to go strip her bed. Take all the sheets off her bed, put it in my car." that's weird. Like, teenage boy, what on earth are we doing?
Yeah.
So I do it. The guy with me, he'd kind of been here longer. We just went and did it. Stripped all the sheets, all the blankets, all the pillowcases, put it in the car, and we went and washed them. And he got a meal train going, putting food in her fridge. And the whole time I'm like, what did we do? Why did we do that? Finally, the time comes where I can ask, and he goes, that woman just lost her husband. She is going to be crying in that bed for probably the next 3 days. The least we could do is put clean sheets on it. And it was that act of service to the nth degree, to a detail above what you were going to do. Like, yes, getting a shift trade for your buddy is cool and noble, but how can we serve the guy who's serving the guy to the best of our ability? And whether that's if we're going to get his kids toys because, he's willing to do this, like, that shouldn't be, it's no longer why it's the least that I could do, right? We've all heard that, thanks. Oh, it's the least that I could do. Why? We want to do the most that we can do. And that's what this mentor of mine, his name's Reese Reed. He had that muscle flexed. Like, that was, and it is, you have to train yourself to find opportunities, find ways to serve. And there's so many of those kind of stories that then coming in here, then you go and ask some burly East Texas fireman, hey, let me strip your sheets so that I can do your laundry for you and put meals in your refrigerator while you're going through this tough time. It's a little daunting. Like, a lot of them are quick to say no. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, you're going to serve, you're going to help to that boundary where you feel comfortable.
You're not taking no for an answer.
And yes, right. And that no for an answer may be past the boundary, right? But mowing his yard is a quick and easy way to say I'm here for you. Just you find what that is. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He went through something, and this was another guy. I think we're about to hire him. He hasn't started yet, but he went and picked his kids up for 2 days. Like, I'll pick your kids up from school while you're dealing with your wife who's in bed sick. Picked his kids up for 2 days. Like, my mom used to say, behind every excuse is a lack of desire. You'll find an excuse to do it just as much as you'll find an excuse not to do it. So, yeah. And then been able to just kind of take these little lessons, and it wasn't always. I also spent my first few years kind of fumbling through the place and taking our job for granted. And it takes a bit of maturity and to see that there's a better way.
Yeah, but there was something that sparked it, and then I guess you probably did a lot of self, reflecting on it. And did we talk about like what sparked it, like the actual moment or event that sparked you to drive this passion here in the department?
Again, I think that it was coming up, not having it, not having mentors. There's guys that I looked up to, and there's guys that are great to work with and fun to be around, and but having mentorship, and this is a different conversation, and you guys talked about it with Chief Moore, but mentorship used to be a life commitment. If you go back into 200-300 years ago, when you were an apprentice, to a watchmaker, your dad, your family spoke to that watchmaker and said, I'm giving you my son to apprentice. He will live with you. You're going to feed him. And in return, you're going to teach him that craft. You're going to teach him how to make this watch, how to be a cobbler, make shoes, whatever that was back in the day. But it was a lifelong, you gave your life to this apprenticeship. And so that's big on your part to be the apprentice, but to have a mentor that is going to take you in, they're going to live with you. You're going to feed them. In return, you're going to teach them your 40 years of craft, your lifelong passion. It was a huge undertaking. So when you say that I want to mentor someone or I want to be mentored, I think that's taken very seriously, especially in our craft, especially when there's so much dynamic to being good at what we do.
Yeah, and so the Brotherhood just follows.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Lekins the other day, and I didn't know how financial, literate he is.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he's smart.
And the conversations that we've had in the recliners at 10, 11 o'clock at night when the day's done have just inspired and motivated. And I mean, we definitely strike and ignite each other. It's been a huge blessing.
I think that's another class you need to have in the group is a whole finance class. Because from me talking to other guys and stuff like that, it's definitely a lack.
Yeah, we're definitely it's on the books. We tried to do kind of like a Facebook Live and just me interview him and ask questions. It's getting so tough. We've got now 50 in our little group, so it's getting tough getting all those guys in the same room.
Let's do a podcast on it. It was me, you, Lekins.
Just for the group or for public?
We'll do it.
I think we do a finance. I mean, I
think the interaction will probably be good for some of the guys to be there physically. Maybe we can get find a place to do it or something.
Yeah, I mean, like even this Sunday coming up, like we try and rotate shifts, and I mean, I'll be happy if we get 10 to 12 guys show up. So
yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
So we talked about all these things that our beliefs on Brotherhood, kind of how it's shaped and formed, at least how we shaped it and formed it that met our department. But now let's talk the after effects of this Brotherhood thing. And one of the things I have written down is the question was or a statement more or less, talk about the impact of the culture in the department when someone feels loved and cared for by being on this team.
Yeah, so that kind of goes into retention. When they're not looking for more money, when they're not looking for a better department, they stay. So when they don't feel like they're a number, when they don't feel like they are just cattle getting processed, we don't give them a reason to go look for a better job. Mm-hmm. We become the better job. Mm-hmm. Also, they are very quick to pass it on. And that's how this thing compounds, and that's how this thing gets aggressive quickly, is the guys that started 6 months ago already have seen, I believe it's tenure, they already have a responsibility to the guys that started 3 months ago. I was where you were 3 months ago, shortest time from all these guys. All these guys can help you, but I know exactly what you're going through because I was there 3 months ago. I'm finally learning the streets, or I'm finally learning how to make coffee for each station the way they want it differently, or eggs, or whatever the case is. Because believe it or not, every station wants their eggs cooked a different way.
Sorry.
Thank you. So finding that out, getting that good, and then giving it to the guy that started 3 months ago, they're already starting to invest. And now they're like, man, I can't leave. I've got these guys behind me that need me. Mm-hmm. And again, you probably have seen that in the military. Like you put in and impart into one caliber of person and then empower him to now give it to the guy behind him. Like
that's my purpose.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. He starts to benefit from that. And also you get to see at a very early age if this guy's a leader, right? Not everyone's a leader. Not everyone needs to be a leader. But I want to start giving you little bits at a time to see what you do with it, where there's no pressure. Can you, I was talking to, we had a guy that was part of our station for a year now. He's moved on. He's about to get checked off. But he could not understand. When we sat him down, we said, the house is yours, right? You make sure that we have groceries in there. You come tell me if the lights are out in the bay. All of this is under your control. Mm-hmm. We're going to help. We're going to we're going to do our part. Everyone's going to help clean and things like that. But the physical house, the station, is your first command. And when you're cooking, I taught him kind of the basics of how to get the meal, how to cook for 8 people instead of just him and his wife. All these things.
He's doing good because I've worked with him. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, he's come so far. It's awesome to see. But he was like, why? Why is this so important? Because when you get in the back of the ambulance and you have to now delegate responsibilities, you've done this before. We just did it over the SAMS order. Mm-hmm. We just did it over, getting station supplies. Mm-hmm. But now when it comes time for you to be the man, it's simple. We just did it with no pressure. So he's now thriving when it's time to put 5 medics at his disposal and go through a cardiac arrest or, things like that. So it's kind of line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little.
No, that's awesome. And the whole value thing is true. I mean, my story into Longview. Didn't know what Longview was. My whole time in the fire service, like I went in the fire service, I thought it was cool. Well, I really didn't know nothing about it. Like I was in the Marine Corps. I started panicking, about to be getting out. Didn't know what to do, so I signed up for Fire Academy. Got out like next week. I was in the Fire Academy.
Why'd you get out?
There's a few reasons. So,
was there ever a point where you said, I want a career in the military? Or was it to do my service and leave? What do you say?
No, I just held them accountable.
Okay.
Because, there's,
I feel like I know exactly how that conversation went. I've been in conversations with you and the guy that we're training, and I think I know exactly how that conversation went.
Well, I mean, I just believe in a standard because, like, the standard is not something that I set.
Yeah.
It's something that was set way before me, and my job is to hold that.
Wow.
And plus, like, like we weren't going back to Afghanistan. And I hate to say it, but like my whole purpose in the military, what I wanted to be was revolved around combat. That's it. Then once I decided, like Cassidy did play a little bit of role in that too. So I was like, it's time to get out.
Yeah, I just met her. She's awesome.
Yeah, she is. She settled me down a lot.
Okay.
Because I was not the person you want to bring around your family. Yeah. But
got it. Yeah.
But then I was like, man, I have a good buddy that he was a fireman in Lufkin and rode out with them one time. I was like, man, I get used to this, work out and run calls, seems fun, whatever. So I went to the Fire Academy and paramedic school right after that. Then
pre-working.
Okay. Yeah, so I started working down in an industrial plant while I was down there. It's called Triangle Rescue. So it's like a standby service where they do like standby rescue. Well, they got a contract for some industrial firefighters at a plant down there. Did that for a little bit. Well, I was like, you know what? I was voided. I was like, man, there's a void in my life, and I was going through a severe amount of depression, like of like not having a purpose. Yeah. And it was like it was tough, very very tough, and so I was like, man, I literally got to get into like some kind of degree of like, fire department or something with a Brotherhood. If not, like my wife's gonna come home and my brain's gonna be plastered against the wall.
Yeah,
like that's how bad it was.
Yeah,
and so I got hired at Longview and everything just started rolling. Well, I got here and like everyone's just so accepting of me and wanted me to be good. The culture's just like be badass. Yeah, and that's like I'm written all over.
Who's the first be badass guy you?
Captain Nicholson. It was at the physical.
Okay.
He's the one that I just solely remember. Okay. And Captain Lawrence with his chest hair hanging out and his boonie. I'm like, I'm rock with this.
Got it.
And that's those two.
First impressions.
Yeah, first impressions. And because I really didn't speak out of that. Then going into orientation, someone that I'm not that kind of way or whatever, but I fell in love with Conrado. Yeah. Like his leadership, his articulation of like how much he cared, like his this genuine like care.
Yeah.
And
and how he can translate that into you caring.
Yes.
Because like you guys talked about it on the last episode, like you cannot motivate someone. It has to come within. But you get around motivated people, and it's easy to find it within.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was. And that's what it was.
Him and I went and played golf the other day, And we couldn't get through 18 holes because we just talked so much. Like we would just stop and, hey, what is your thoughts on this? Oh, I love that. Like I got to write that down. It was an awesome experience. And he's again, strike and ignite. Like make me better, I'll make you better. Make me better, I'll make you better.
Man, I don't want to suck his dick too much, but like, man, he just
please don't.
But it's just one of the people that I mean, you're just no matter how you feeling in life, like go talk to him, and your life is going to be 30 times better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he just made a drastic impact on my life when I went into there. But you know
and he's at 1. You guys have got some killers at 1.
We're stacked.
Yeah.
But
best house in the city.
Then I went to Station 6. Captain Letty, Jake, and Crop Truck made a good impression on me. Then, but
Jake's
somebody
great.
that I started making a relationship with early on, and I was straight at rookie status. I was like 2 weeks, but talking to him is Trent.
Trent Montgomery, Captain America.
And so now we developed, an inseparable bond. But and we started talking shit to each other. I'm telling you, if you could talk shit to somebody, I mean, that's your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so funny thing, Trent is what I told everyone in South Africa what America is like. Because when I met Trent, he was a star football player. He was dating the star cheerleader, whatever she was. Drove a Chevy, white picket fence, like to a foreign guy from little tip of Africa. He was as American as America gets. And so that's why I call him Captain America. Like, this guy is textbook. Put him on the Wheaties box.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember being so new, then I see Trent and Johnny Knoxville riding in the ambulance. Robbie and bro, I just would die laughing, and they always talking shit and having a good time and stuff. But you just tell they had a bond. And now I started really I took a step back and started assessing everybody. And I seen there were some people that were standoff, but there's also some people that had some really good relationships.
Yeah.
And then got to meeting people like you. And I think was the first time I met you, was that the time we went and moved your house out, or did I meet you before then?
No, yeah, I'd met you. We had worked shift together a couple shifts before.
That's right. But then I just fell in love with this. And then once I fell in love with something, when someone's put care into me, I feel like I owe my life to them.
Yeah.
It's 100% loyalty after that.
Yeah.
And so
it's a brand.
And that's it. And so now I'm 100% invested, and I just want to be good, and I want to be able to offer it to give those guys, the men and women in Longview Fire Department, my everything. That's why I do the job. I don't do it for the citizens. I don't do it for the city. I do it for them. That's it. Solely.
Yeah, they benefit, but
they benefit from me. But and I try to do my job very well, but that's not my purpose.
Right.
Yeah. But that's kind of me. I kind of went off a rabbit hole with that. But
then TBM is last year or so, or how long? When did this come into play?
So TBM, about a year, and it was just. So this is a retarded ass story. So I was sitting in the gym in Fort Worth, and I was working out. I've always been kind of big in workout clothes and stuff. So I was like, man, I wish there was some a fire department clothing that would involve athletic wear, that because we're very prideful. We love being firemen. We want people to know that we're firemen, if we say it or not. We're very prideful.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish there's some workout clothes that kind of represented us, but it wasn't too motivating. I got your brother's back, and
I fight what you fear.
Yeah, all that bullshit. So I was like, man, I'm gonna start this. So I called one of my buddies, Heath, the guy that I used to be on here with, and told him everything. I called my buddy Fucks and told him everything.
What's his name?
His name's Fucks, but he was in the Marines with me, so
got it.
And so it just kind of just trumbled down, and I wanted it, so I was trying to find ways to market it and stuff, and podcasts came to mention, and I felt like it would have been a good positive way of giving back.
And when are you launching? When can we buy stuff?
So actually, it's in the final stage of production. So all my t-shirts are done, awesome. And now I'm waiting on Adcock to finish my tanks.
Okay.
Then it's rolling out.
You excited?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. See where it goes. See people. Hopefully, people like it. I got to start working on another set. I'm gonna do little bits. I'm gonna just constantly do a t-shirt or two and just keep it always running.
Okay.
That way I just don't keep a lot of overstock and have people not always just trying to catch up, or having to buy everything at once, So as things come out, they can get everything there and save their money to buy the next things that come out.
Gotcha.
If they care to buy.
And then the podcast is just kind of run parallel with
yes, it was
brand, or do you think it'll kind of separate?
Man, I think it's going to end up somewhat separating, maybe, because I initially did the podcast for the apparel, but now it's kind of turn it around, and now it's the apparel for the podcast.
I see.
So just because the podcast kind of took off, and it's fun to do, and it's just like, I don't know, I think it's man, what's a good word? I think it's very purposeful. You know what I mean? Because I get to come over here and have these conversations and perspectives, and hopefully people can watch this video and listen to it on the road, and they get to kind of sit in on it and be a part of it. And that's one thing I was telling Velez and Cap and stuff the other day. I was talking, I was like, because the podcast recorded really well, and they was like, man, I was like, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for being a part of this and stuff, because like, it's not about me. Like, I don't want TBM to ever be like a brand of Gunnar and Michelle, because I want it to be a brand of like us as a whole. Yeah. Because one day I will perish, and people will have to take it over. Yeah. And so that's what I wanted to represent. And you know, if I decide to sell it or give it away one day, like I can give it to like Velez or somebody and take it and run with it, and it will still succeed because it's not about me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And
that's awesome.
And that's kind of the model. I mean, in a nutshell.
Yeah. That's super exciting. I'm glad to be a part of it, and glad to see it from its infancy.
And that's what I'm saying, like with you and having the conversations that me and you've had, like you've taught us so much. And you're always like the Brotherhood thing. He's there when you need him. Like, hey, Juays, I need this and this and that. Even though I didn't use the GoPro the other day, but because we didn't need it. But like, I was like, hey, Juays, I'm gonna buy it. I need something. Yeah, good things happen.
I've made a lot of money from hearing what people need and knowing people that have it, and just putting the two together. I'll call up, hey, I got someone who needs this. What's your finder's fee? So
that's the way it is.
But yeah, man, I mean, I guess in closing, love your department, love your company, love the guys you work with.
Pride and loyalty, and love,
and act on it. Yeah.
If I could sum up Brotherhood at all, it'd be pride, loyalty, and love. Yeah. You're prideful of what you are. You're loyal to what you are, and you love who you're doing it with.
Yeah, exactly. And that gets, there's this concept, the house. So the house being the fire department, loyalty, pride for the fire department that you're a part of. The house, your company, your station, being accountable. Like, hey, and we talk about it like, you and six, like, one's better than six, or one runs more calls, or six runs more calls, or like those kind of little beefs, like they matter. Company culture matters. Start company culture. That's how you get guys with buy-in. That's how you retain these guys, is have companies worth coming to. Every time you guys have an opening at 1A, you get a list of people that want to be there because you guys have some culture to it. 1C's doing that. 3A's had that company culture. My whole career, they get a list because their officer is someone that believes in it.
Who is it?
Colby Beckham.
Oh yeah. I thought so. 3A.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I don't know. I think this is fun. It's kind of these like unofficial written rules things, but what are your company traditions? What is your company culture? And maybe it's a comment on the YouTube on this video is I'd like to see all the company traditions that are out there.
Let's do that. Yeah. If you're listening, do that.
Yeah. My favorite one down in Houston is if, and I won't say which one, but if they beat you to your fire, so if they come to your first due and they stretch the line on your first due, they take a pole and they stab it with their flag, like they're planting their flag on your fire. Like, that is badass. That is dude. Cool. I love stuff like that.
That is cool.
So yeah, I think there's all kinds of cool things out there.
I'm curious to know that. Yeah. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, I what makes your company someone want to be a part of? Like, yeah, why do people want to work for your officer? What do you have out there? But like, there's heritage, and that starts somewhere. Especially FDNY, these guys have had this company logo, name, culture for 80, 90, 100 years, some of them. I love that kind of stuff.
I know.
And it starts somewhere.
FDNY.
And that's true. But yeah, so you have the house, your department, your house, your company, and then you individually, your house. What are you doing to succeed individually? What are you reading? Who are you around? What influences? Who are your mentors? How do you get mentors? All those things matter.
Cool. Well, guys, thank y'all for listening. Juays, thank you so much for coming on and sharing
Thanks
your
for having
perspectives,
me.
man. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
I'd honestly say, to me, this feels like one of the best podcasts I've done so far.
Well, I
It's up there
appreciate
with them.
that.
And it's just good conversation.
I'll come back anytime you need me.
If you call me, I will get to you eventually, but it might
Okay.
be 2 to 3 weeks later.
Okay.
So just,
Yeah,
you know,
I'll
figure that out.
I'll send a bird this way. It'll get here before you reply to a message.
Oh, cool. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and share our videos. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And guys, messages, outreaches, anything y'all have ideas that you want us to talk about and conversate on, please reach out to us. If you're interested in being a guest or you have somebody that wants to be a guest on here, please reach out to us. We'll make things happen. I got a few podcasts coming up. I got a podcast coming with Caleb Holloway pretty soon. Like I said, he's in the Deepwater Horizon during the BP oil spill. It's going to be a very good podcast.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
He's always been a family friend.
Oh, wow.
And I also got Paul Howell owns it's a gun range, and they also do training for like military police. He was on Delta with the famous movie Black Hawk Down. He was
one of the real
deals.
That's some high pedigree.
Yep. So
why do you have me here?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I can't wait. That's awesome.
No, don't feel that way. Okay. But all right, guys, thank you for watching. Peace out.